Hey everyone, welcome back to Mindful English. I'm Sera, and I'm sitting here with Liam.
Hey guys, welcome to Part 2 of our Workday Self-Narration series. In our previous episode, we covered the morning routine, from hitting snooze to beating the traffic and grabbing lunch. And today, we are picking up exactly where we left off.
You just finished your lunch, you're back at your desk, and the afternoon is just getting started. By the end of today, you'll have natural English for every part of your workday, all the way to the moment you fall asleep. Let's get into it. So Liam, when you sit back down after lunch, what is the very first thing you do?
The first thing I do is check my calendar for the afternoon. Honestly, the modern workplace has changed so much. We don't really walk over to each other's desks just to ask a quick question or share a document anymore.
Exactly. Of course, we still use email all the time for official things or forwarding information. But for that quick day-to-day communication, we rely so much on internal messengers like Slack or Teams. So if I need to send you a file or ask a quick question, I wouldn't walk over to your desk. I would just say, I'll ping you on Slack. Ping means to send a quick digital message to someone, like a short notification. It originally comes from sonar technology, where a signal is sent out and bounces back. Now we use it casually to mean any kind of quick online message.
Ping me. I probably use that phrase 100 times a day. And when you are just narrating your day to yourself, you would simply think, I need to ping my manager. Or after it's done, I pinged him about the file.
Exactly. But if a quick ping isn't enough and we need to have a real discussion, then I will set up a meeting and send a calendar invite so it's officially locked in your calendar. Send a calendar invite means to send a digital meeting request that automatically adds the event to someone's calendar.
Right. You have to send the invite. But Sera, even when a meeting is locked in the calendar, things don't always go as planned. Sometimes your previous task takes too long, and you realize you aren't going to make it on time.
In that situation, you need to delay the meeting. So you would message your coworker and ask, can we push the meeting back? Push back means to move something to a later time than originally planned. And when you are just narrating the situation to yourself, you simply say, my 3 p.m. meeting got pushed back to 4.
Pushed back is the perfect phrasal verb. But what if a client contacts you and asks to have the meeting earlier? Or your boss suddenly wants to meet sooner?
Then you go the opposite way. You ask them, can we move the meeting up? Move up means to reschedule something to an earlier time than originally planned. It's the exact opposite of pushing back. And to narrate that in your head, you say, my meeting got moved up.
Perfect. Okay, so the meeting time is finally set. If it's a really important presentation, you don't just make a presentation. You really have to focus and put together a slide deck or put together a presentation. Put together means to gather all the necessary parts, data, charts, and information, and combine them into one complete, organized package.
Right. And when it's finally time for the meeting, we don't usually go to a physical conference room anymore. We just put on our headsets and hop on a video call or jump on a Zoom call. Hop on or jump on a call means to join a video or phone meeting quickly and casually. It implies it's something routine and easy, not a big formal event.
And the absolute most common phrase you will hear on every single video call, without fail, is, you're on mute.
Yes. You're on mute. Or, let me share my screen. Those two phrases are the soundtrack of modern office life. Share my screen means to make your computer screen visible to everyone else on the video call so they can see your presentation or document. Okay, so you hopped on the Zoom call, you shared your screen, the meeting was a success. But now, it's 3:30 p.m. Liam, I have to ask, do you ever get that terrible feeling where your brain just stops working?
Oh, absolutely. And we actually have two different ways to describe this. If you just ate a massive bowl of pasta for lunch and suddenly you are incredibly sleepy, we call that a food coma. A food coma is that heavy, drowsy, almost paralyzed feeling you get right after eating a really big meal. Your body is putting all its energy into digestion, and your brain just shuts down.
Right. A food coma is all about the food. But if it's the middle of the afternoon and you are just mentally and physically exhausted from working so hard, you say, I completely hit a wall. Hit a wall means to suddenly reach a point where you have no more energy or mental capacity to continue, just like a marathon runner who suddenly runs out of fuel.
Hitting a wall is so brutal. What do you do when you hit a wall, Sarah?
I have to get away from my screen. I usually stand up to stretch my legs, and I walk over to the water cooler.
Oh, let's talk about the water cooler, because it's not just a machine that gives you water.
Exactly. In American office culture, the water cooler is the traditional spot where coworkers accidentally bump into each other and chat about weekend plans or TV shows. So even if you are just going to the kitchen to get a snack, taking a short break to chat with coworkers is often called water cooler chat. It means casual, informal conversation that happens naturally between colleagues during small breaks in the workday.
I love a good water cooler chat. It gives you the energy to survive the rest of the day. So, the clock finally hits 5:30 p.m. The office starts to empty out. This is when I start to wrap things up. I close my tabs, finish my last email, and I officially call it a day. Call it a day means to decide to stop working for the day, to officially end your work session and switch off.
Call it a day is the best phrase. But let's be realistic. We don't always leave at 5:30. Sometimes you just have too much work. So you say to yourself, I have to work late today. Work late means to stay at the office or keep working beyond your normal finishing time. And if it's an extreme situation, like a massive crisis, and you are staying at the office until midnight, then you can use that dramatic idiom, I'm burning the midnight oil. Burn the midnight oil means to work or study very late into the night. It comes from the days before electricity, when people would literally burn oil lamps to keep working after dark. But you only use that for those really intense, extreme late nights.
Right, working until 7 p.m. isn't burning the midnight oil. But whether you leave at 5:30 or 8 p.m., the moment you walk out of that building, you have to protect your personal time. I always try my best to leave work at the door. Leave work at the door means to mentally disconnect from your job the moment you leave the office, to not bring your work stress or problems into your personal life.
Leaving work at the door is the ultimate goal. So you commute back home and you finally walk through your front door. You are completely exhausted. Liam, do you actually make a full meal?
Absolutely not. On a busy workday, I have zero energy to cook. I usually just open my phone and order takeout, or I'll get something delivered. Order takeout means to order food from a restaurant that is then either picked up or delivered to your home, rather than eating at the restaurant itself. And while I wait for the food, the very first thing I do is take off my uncomfortable work clothes and slip into some sweatpants. Slip into means to put something on quickly and easily with minimal effort. It has that feeling of relief, like the day is finally over and you can completely relax.
Slipping into sweatpants is the official signal that the day is over. Once the food arrives, I usually eat on the sofa. I'm too tired to think too hard, so I just zone out in front of the TV. Zone out means to stop paying attention to what's around you, to let your mind go completely blank and just rest. Your eyes are open, but your brain has essentially switched off.
I do the exact same thing. And because I have to wake up early for work the next day, I definitely don't have the time to binge watch a whole series. Usually, I'll just catch an episode of a show on Netflix. Catch an episode means to watch a single episode of a show, casually, and without committing to a long viewing session.
Or if I don't want to commit to a whole TV show, I just use the phrase throw on. I'll say, I'm just going to throw on a YouTube video, or throw on a movie. Throw on means to put something on casually and without much thought or planning. It implies a very low-effort, relaxed choice.
I love throw on. And eventually, you look at the clock and realize it's getting late. You drag yourself to the bathroom to wash up. And finally, you call it a night. Just like you call it a day at work, you call it a night when it's time to sleep. It means you are officially ending the evening and going to bed.
Or, if you want to use a really classic idiom, you say, I'm going to hit the hay. Hit the hay means to go to bed. It comes from the old days when mattresses were literally stuffed with hay. Nobody sleeps on hay anymore, but the expression stuck around.
And when you combine everything from Part 1 and Part 2, our listeners now have an entire vocabulary toolkit for their whole day, from rolling out of bed in the morning all the way to hitting the hay at night. Your whole day from morning to night is now your personal English practice session.
Before we officially call it a day here at Mindful English, let's do our mindful review. Liam, what are your absolute favorite phrases from the afternoon and evening?
Oh, it's so hard to choose. But my first pick is definitely the scheduling phrase, push the meeting back. It is so practical. We have to reschedule things all the time, and saying, my meeting got pushed back to 3 p.m. sounds so incredibly fluent and professional. It's much more natural than just saying delayed or postponed.
It really does sound so much more native. My top pick is ping me on Slack. Because almost all of our work communication is online now, ping me is probably the most frequently used verb in the modern office. And yet, most learners have never even heard it before. Once you start using it, you'll wonder how you ever got by without it.
It's such a crucial office phrase. And for my final pick, I'm going with the evening TV phrase, throw on a YouTube video. It's such a natural, casual phrasal verb that perfectly captures how we actually consume media after a long, tiring workday. Nobody says, I am going to watch a YouTube video. You just throw one on.
I completely agree. So try practicing these phrases starting tomorrow. When you send a message at work, tell yourself, I'm going to ping them. When you reschedule something, say to yourself, we pushed it back. When you turn on your TV tonight, say, I'm just going to throw something on. That internal narration is where the real fluency builds.
And that wraps up our two-part Workday Self-Narration series. Your whole day, from the moment your alarm goes off to the moment you hit the hay, is now your English practice ground.
Which phrase from today are you going to use first? Drop it in the comments. And if this series has been useful, share it with someone who's been looking for a way to practice English every single day.
Everything from today is in the pinned comment. And if you missed Part 1, it's all there waiting for you too. Go check it out after this.
See you next time. Take care, everyone.
Take care.
Isn't this view incredible?
Yes, the sunset is magical. I could ride this train forever.